Well, happy winter to you, Crocoduck Army. If I ever find that groundhog, by the way, I'm feeding him to the crocoducks in the pond I wish I had in the backyard. If they're still hungry, maybe that obnoxious reporter who made Bodie Miller cry will volunteer to be next. Speaking of the Olympics, Mrs. Zaunstar and I enjoy watching it. And yes, I know it's commercialized, and no, I don't care, but I do have mixed feelings about it this year. I'm watching an international sporting event being held in a country where people are being brutally beaten for being gay, while the police do nothing to prosecute the abusers, and it's illegal for citizens to stand up for gay rights. It's a bad situation and only getting worse, as Russian President Vladimir Putin recently linked pedophilia and homosexuality in TV interviews. Even more chilling than that, but less heavily reported on. In the same interview, Putin said that homosexuality needs to be cleansed from Russia in order to increase birth rates. I'm not sure who Vladimir thinks he's fooling. Everyone knows what it means when a leader says that a population needs to be cleansed. In a way, I'm glad the Olympics were in Russia, because it does shine a light on the issue, and I'm sure a lot more people are aware of it now than were aware of it before the Olympics. In all but the most isolated countries, international pressure does make a difference. Internal pressure makes an even bigger difference, and we saw an example of that just in the past week in Kansas. A state that has become increasingly controlled by the lunatic fringe of religious conservatism came up with a bill specifically protecting religious people from being forced to serve gay people. As I understand it, this would have also included government workers, so that could have made for some horrible situations where first responders may have been within their rights to not assist gay people. Yes, Kansas was going to see if they can get some Jim Crow-style laws for gay people, and it was passed easily by the Republican-controlled House, and it was on its way to the Republican-controlled Senate. Fortunately, social media got a hold of it before that could happen. Due to the extra bright spotlight of the entire country suddenly shining on Kansas, state Republican officials are all tripping over themselves to backpedal from the bill, and everyone has a different excuse. Some are saying that the bill was poorly worded. Others are saying they didn't realize that the bill meant what it said it meant. You know it's bad when nearly all Republicans are suddenly distancing themselves from it. This is how social consequences can work for the greater good. No matter how nasty what they were trying to do actually was, nobody wants to actually be looked at as the proverbial bad guy. And in politics, if enough people see you that way, there's a decent chance that you're going to be out of a job after the next election, unless your district is very well gerrymandered. I'm half expecting one of these politicians to claim the bill was satire, and wasn't meant to be passed anyway. It's a popular excuse for saying stupid things on the internet, so why not stupid legislation too? The framing of that and similar laws against gays are very transparent. The law's proponents, from Uganda to Russia to Kansas, say they're all about protecting the children or about religious freedom, but most of the Western world knows what it's really about. It's about fear, prejudice, ignorance, and domestic politics that play to the lowest common denominators in whatever they think their base voting bloc is. Then, when they're challenged, the persecution complex comes up. Some conservatives I know will make posts lamenting how equal rights supporters are being mean and personally attacking those who disagree with them, and how that's so intolerant from a group who claims to be tolerant. I'll put it in very easy terms for those people. You are fighting against equality for certain groups, or crafting laws or giving your evidence-free opinions on their morality. This gives a wink and a nod to those who hate them to feel justified in looking down on them, which can lead to violence, and sometimes does. I will not tolerate your views. Your religious freedom does not extend to hurting other people in any way. If you can't deal with a job where you might be forced to treat people equally, then don't take that job. Similarly, if you take a position where you can't handle the social consequences of your bigotry, then maybe it's time for you to reevaluate your position.